Okay, so I'll show you a way to create a material instance which you can manipulate in real time, so you can tweak your texture size. So I'll just open up the floor material. At the moment we're using the texture coordinates, but we can manipulate those. So if we just multiply those values by a parameter, so we need to scale the parameter, and we'll call that U tile. And we'll duplicate, and we'll call that V tile. And we'll just set the default value as 1 for both of those. And then we'll just add those to the texture coordinates. Okay, so we've got these two parameters, and then we're going to append them. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Effectively combining these two scales together, and then we're going to combine those. We'll have to deselect that while we're doing this, so we'll just disconnect those. So break that one and break that one while we're doing this. Okay, so we're going to multiply this by the texture coordinates. So multiply that times that value by the texture coordinates, and then we pump that directly into the. Okay, so I just saved that. Okay, so that's the base material. Now if you right click on it and we create a material instance, you can see it says instance in there. If we double click on that, it looks different now. And if we turn it into a plane, okay, you can see that the two parameters that we generated before are here, but they're not ticked. So we click on those. So when we change these values, you can see what we're doing to the texture coordinates. So if we do 0.5 and 0.5, you can see it's made it a lot bigger. Now that can be done in real time. So if we apply this to the floor itself, so drop down there. And then if we get that, we just put that on there. I'll just make that a bit smaller, and you can see as I change it, it actually updates it in the view. So we do 0.25 and 0.25. You can see the texture coordinates. Now, This artifact here isn't to do with what we've been doing. It's simply because I've picked a texture and it's got this black line on the edge. I haven't cropped it very well. Okay, so I'll just go out of here. Okay, so I've updated the texture. There was a slight discrepancy in the tiling, and if we look at the floor mat instance, I've tiled it 0.75 by 0.75, and then when we click on the VR preview and put the headset on, we can now look around and we can see we've got the wood flanning, wood panelling, but you can also see that there's a slight normal map that gives it sort of a bumpy, uneven feel. Might be slightly exaggerated for this example, but there's our floor. So take the headset off. So that's the floor, and we can also do the same thing for the walls. Now I've got a plaster wall texture, so I'm just going to add, if we go to basic, we can add a static mesh cube and position that, and we can expand that, so effectively it becomes a wall. You press the F key on the keyboard, Alt down and left mouse button down, you can actually rotate around and see where it is. Click on the move tool, okay. If you press the W, E and R, that puts you through the different keys, so we want to move it, and we're just going to make this just cut through the ground there. Okay, we can. It's probably a bit too tall, but we'll put that in the middle of the room there. Okay, and we're going to add the plaster wall to it. We'll do the same thing again with the plaster wall. So right click on it, go create material, open up, and this time you notice when we create a material it's already attached that to it, so we can again just change the specular constant, just give it a little bit of variation there. So on the specular 0.1, because it's plasterboard, so it won't be that reflective, so duplicate that, put that in the roughness so it scatters the light a little bit, so 0.5, and then we'll save that. Now I haven't added a normal map, but you can do, and I'll just apply that to its surface. So we've got our wall section, and if I go to display and go to pictures, we've already got some pre-made pictures. Now if we look, we've got the Mona Lisa, we've got the Van Gogh, and we've got the Rembrandt, and inside here we've got some materials, we've got some textures, and we've also got the models. The models are the one with the turquoise colour. So let's throw in the Van Gogh and bring the Van Gogh up. And you can see if I press on the S key, we've got the Van Gogh on there. And I'm just going to rotate this. And now with the rotate button is the E key. I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees so we can snap the rotation. Oops, that didn't work. I'll just do that again. Make sure you've got snap on. It's a quick way of snapping. And obviously the W key will move. And then we can put the picture on the wall. Let's just make sure it's flush with the wall, which it is. And we can also scale with the R key. And if you only want to scale it along the Y and the X, just select the diagonal line connecting them both together, and we can scale that up. So we've got a nice large picture, and just going to move it into position. And what's great now is because we've got the size of the person here, we know that will be the outline, so we can actually bring it up a little bit there. We'll just save that, and then we'll test it. Click on the VR preview, put the headset on, and as you can see now, we've got our picture. And it's up on the wall, and it's in the right position, and we can see it, and we can also see there's some sort of material on the wall which denotes it as a plasterboard. Okay, so it's coming together now. Okay, so take the headset off. You probably noticed as well that there's a lighting warning, a red piece of text. That's simply because we haven't built the lighting. So we go to build lighting, and that's going to build the static lighting in the scene. So all the shadows and the lighting on the surfaces will be calculated. Now remember, this is for static lighting, so as long as the lighting doesn't change. Okay, and that's will be built, and then as you can see now, we get some shadows being cast. We click on review again, put the headset back on. You can now see that shadows being cast from that block that represents the size of a person onto the wall. So you can create realistic lighting. You can probably tell as well that the frame of the picture has got a bit too much of a reflective surface, so we can change that. Okay, but we need to add the nav mesh bounds volume so we can move around. So we'll just do that. So I'll just come out of there. I'm just going to throw in the nav mesh bounds volume. I'll just scale that up so it fits the location. And I'll scale it up, and I'll just move it out of it. Let's just press P on the keyboard, and that gives us a nice area that we can walk around. And if we press the Alt key down, we can see we can walk all the way around. So let's just test that. Click on play. So I've just put the headset on, and now I can teleport around. You can see it's casting a nice shadow on the back. We can move around, and we can get quite close and look at the picture. Okay, just take the headset off, press escape. Okay, so that's giving you the fundamentals of building the walls and the floor, and obviously you could add a ceiling and enclose it, but don't forget, as soon as you start to enclose that, the lighting inside will be darker, so you might need to add lights, but we'll look at that later on.